guys, so I have a confession to make. The reality is I'm not a huge Corvette fan. But this one caught my eye, and it caught my eye for maybe a reason you're not thinking. The reality is all the hype right now is around the C8. They moved the engine from here to there, and the world went nuts. Now, I butchered the C8 in my last video. I said they copped out on the design and spent all their money in development moving that engine and making a great driving package, which they did. But you cannot deny the beauty of the old Corvette. It's got Corvette styling, it's got Corvette lines, and this one being a Stingray edition is even more special. The Stingray was introduced in 1963, and pretty much car enthusiasts around the world say the 67 Stingray was one of the most beautiful, iconic cars still to this day. So that's still not answering the question why I said I like this more than the new one. And we're gonna get to that, but I'm gonna explain a little bit more about this car in the meantime. So this car is traditional Corvette American muscle V8 power. It has a 6.2 liter V8 producing 460 horsepower and 465 foot-pounds of torque. It can move 3.7 seconds 0 to 60 in a rear-wheel drive car. So if you're somebody who likes to spin the back tires, this one's for you. Staying down the number path with the car, it's got a curb weight of about 3,300 pounds, 19-inch wheels in the front, 20-inch wheels in the back, and they're wrapped in Michelin Super Sport ZPs. The car does have some faults though in the number game. It is extremely low, as you can see I'm standing next to it. Now if we get down here, you can see how low the car really is, and this car does not have a front lift system. So going into driveways, going over speed bumps, you're gonna have some issues. And you're gonna have to navigate those a little more carefully than you probably should with this type of car. And if you're wondering, no, this is no different than most of the iconic Corvette hoods. It opens in reverse. And for all you car nerds that can't go a video without seeing the engine, here she is. Now the one thing I wish Corvette still did, and honestly many manufacturers still did, is let you see the engine. You can see that it's got Corvette, but these are plastic pieces. I'm not burning my fingers here, so I'm not actually touching the real block, and I wish I could. These things are beautiful. This is a great engine. And all you guys that are following my channel know I hate fake vents. There's none of those here. These are all real. So when I mentioned the wheel package earlier, I didn't mention one standard feature with all Stingrays, and that's it comes standard with Brembo brakes, which you really need. I mentioned it earlier that this car moves 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. That's a lot of power, and you need a lot of stopping power to compensate for that. So like I mentioned, this car does in fact have a trunk. Now it is much smaller because of the convertible system, and Corvettes don't typically have a lot of storage space, although you're not really buying this car for storage space. The trunk doesn't have a button on the outside. I can't push anywhere here to open it. You need to use the car remote. There's nothing that makes this trunk special. Now Chevy says you can fit a set of golf clubs back here, but I play golf. I don't see it. Unless you're going light, maybe playing 9 holes and taking 9 clubs, maybe. But you'd probably have to leave your bag at home too. To keep in line with the sleek design and flowing lines of the Stingray, Chevy did what most auto manufacturers do, and they tried to do something clever with the door handles. So they tucked them in here. They're pressure sensitive, no fancy motion buttons like in some cars, actual physical button, but it is tucked in this little hole. So since I know anytime a convertible appears on a video, you can't go without the top going down. And back up. The interior of the Vette has come a long way over the years. One of my many complaints always about Vettes were that they felt plasticky inside. This one doesn't. You have a lot of fine finishes throughout, aluminums and leathers. There's still quite a bit of plastic in here, and honestly, in my opinion, more plastic than should be. Yes, this isn't a $100,000 sports car, but at this price point, you have cars that are competing with it that are putting fine materials inside. Yes, there's a trade-off, performance versus quality in some instances, but I think on this one they scrimped in areas they really shouldn't have. One area of plastic that I think really is a miss here are these little paddles. This particular Stingray comes with the 8-speed automatic transmission. Now you can put this into a manual setting and flip through the gears using these paddles. But these paddles are no bigger than 3 fingers and they're made of plastic, so they don't give you that sense of confidence as you're driving. It puts your hands in an odd driving position, not in a natural one for paddles. They are now attached to the wheel, so at least they're always where your hands are if you're driving right. But again, they are far too small and made of plastic for this type of sports car. These go a long way. If these felt a little bit better, maybe I could forgive some of the plastic trim on the radio or on the climate control. The one thing that continues to bother me about the drive is these little dinky paddles. The responsiveness is very quick. If you notice, it's not lightning quick, but it does move pretty quick. Within, a split second, it does change gears on you. So there is some good feel when you put it into manual on these, but these little tiny paddles here just bother me. They're extremely small, and in fact, to me, they're just too small for this car. It makes it feel cheaper than it actually is. Another common feature in Vettes that this Stingray embodies is the driver-oriented position of all the instruments. Everything is angled towards the driver. Well, that leaves the passenger a little bare. They don't have any amenities over there, and honestly, they have to reach over this pillar to even reach the infotainment center. Well, Chevy did give them some access, and they put a little dial on the right that allows them to control the climate on their end, as well as the heated and cooled seats. It's pretty clever. The other thing that Chevy has here that I absolutely love, and I think every sports car needs to have and should have, is a heads-up display. When you're driving at a high rate of speed, the last thing you should be doing is taking your eyes from the road and looking down. Chevy makes sure you have that heads-up display, and it gives you all the pertinent information. Yes, it's customizable and you can move it up and down, but without it, I'd be lost, and I love the fact they kept it in there. Like most Corvettes, this Corvette has a very long nose and an angled seat back, making it a little difficult to see the road in front of you. You know, guys, one of the things I haven't mentioned is visibility in this car. I'm thinking about it here as I'm switching lanes. Most sports cars don't have the greatest visibility. It's one of the drawbacks of this type of car. However, this car really has one spot that you simply cannot see, and that is the blind spot on your passenger side. You look backwards and you're met with the body of the car. Specifically here in the convertible model, where your B-pillar would typically be is the actual roof itself, and there's no small window, so you're even more blind than you traditionally are. And there's no blind spot assist in this car. So you just got to be very aware of your surroundings when you're driving and make sure that you're kind of leaning up and back in order to see it. I typically like it when the front end of the car tapers off really quick and I can see the road, especially in a sports car. This one to me gives you a little bit too much of a relaxed, reclined feel in a very meaty and hefty sports car. I wish I was in a little bit more of aggressive position, but that's just me. And I guess that goes to a lot of this. I'm not a Vette guy. The main reason I'm typically not a Vette guy is I've always associated Vettes with those midlife crisis men. And no matter what Chevy does to the car, I can't undo that in my mind. It does have a lot of great lines, and it's got wonderful personality. When you drive this, you can't help but love the driving experience. Now, with all the negatives this car has, and me not being a Corvette guy, why would I recommend you buy this car? Well, the reality is this is a great sports car. And as I said, when you drive it, you can't help but smile, and you can't help but like the car. The other reason is all the attention right now in the Corvette community is on the C8. This pandemic, as I said in a video before, leaves lots of brand new 2019 Corvettes sitting on the lot. One other thing to take note of with this car is that this is the last Corvette with the engine in the front. What does this mean for you? Is that this is probably going to have some collector value to it. Now, yes, those are probably going to be garage trophies, ones where the mileage is nothing. And that's not you. You're buying this car to enjoy it and drive it around like a maniac, like I would. But what it does mean to you is a lower depreciation curve. So you're buying a car that's going to hold its value. You have dealerships with cars on their lot that are going on 2 years old, and they're incentivized to get these off. They want to move these units, so they're going to move on the price. The manufacturers, they're incentivizing you as well. 0% for 84 months. 84 months, 0% on this car. So you've got prices going down, collectability, the last of a breed. Oh, the last of a breed? 1 point on that too, they've ironed out all the kinks. Ask any car guy out there that takes their cars to the track, and they'll tell you 2 cars will make it through no matter how many runs they go up and down. One is a Porsche and the other is a Corvette. Every other car on the market will break down. This car is bulletproof and it's great. The C8, everyone knows it's a Generation 1, which means they're still working out those kinks. Would you rather have a car that's bulletproof, that's gonna hold its value, and the dealers want to give you at a great rate? Or would you rather have a car, yeah, that's popular, but it's probably gonna break down on you? I know which one I would take, and I know which one I'm gonna recommend. If you're in the market for a fun sports car and a Corvette is something you're into, this is your car. Go to the dealerships and take those 2019s. You won't regret it. Smash the thumbs up, subscribe down below, that little bell icon. That way you're notified the next time I upload a video. I'll see you guys in the next one.